مشاهدي أخبار الآن، للاطلاع على التفاصيل والتطورات في أوكرانيا ننتقل إلى كييف مع الزميل وموفد أخبار الآن إلى هناك هارالد دورنبوس. هارالد، بداية يعطيك العافية، أنت متواجد في أوكرانيا. هل لك في البداية أن توضح لنا أين تتواجد بالتحديد وما الذي يجري من حولك؟
I arrived yesterday here in the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. I'm currently in a hotel, and normally I would walk on the street with the camera and show you the city around, show the destruction, show the barricades. There are a lot of barricades here because people are scared that the Russian tanks will enter the city. But it's impossible. I'm in a hotel now because if you walk on the street, people are so scared for Russian spies, as they say. They will immediately call the police. The police will then either check your documents, maybe arrest you. So it's not possible to walk with a telephone or with a camera just on the street. That's why I'm talking to you now from the lobby of a hotel. And the hotel is very empty because, of course, people have been leaving Kyiv. They're very scared for the war. They cannot believe what is happening to them. So it's an empty hotel. It's pretty cold in the night here. There has been snow. And outside on the streets, it's very quiet. As I told you, there are a lot of barricades, a lot of soldiers, a lot of armed people. And yeah, it's a very strange and eerie situation.
هارالد، كيف يمكن أن تصف لنا الوضع الإنساني، خاصة وأن روسيا تواصل قصفها للبنى التحتية والأحياء السكنية ولا توفر حتى المستشفيات وكل هذه المباني؟ كيف يمكن أن تصف لنا الوضع الإنساني؟
It's not good, obviously, because there's a war going on. People are very scared, but there is still enough food. That is because Kyiv is not an enclave. It's not surrounded by Russians on all sides. It's surrounded by Russians on the north of the city, but not on the south and on the east. So it is still possible to get to Kyiv food from other sides of Ukraine. So some shops are still open. Supermarkets still have, luckily, food and other goods. It's of course a matter of time. The longer the war lasts, the less things and food you will have. So at one point this seriously will become a problem.
هارالد، نعرف أن الوضع متوتر والوضع الأمني خارج عن السيطرة في كييف. كيف تتمكن من التنقل من منطقة إلى أخرى لنقل الصورة إلينا؟
So basically we're using a car. Because there is still a little bit of public transport. I was also surprised. I suddenly see a bus driving from left to right. I was like, hey, there's a bus. Mm-hmm. And although there's a bombing and many times there's air sirens, air alarm. So you hear like screaming shouts through the city. And that is a sign that there might be bombing coming in. So people then go to the basements. And these basements, many times it is the metro of Kyiv is being used as the basement. But so in the metro stations, there are many people hiding because it's very deep down. One metro station is even 100 meters down underground. So that is the deepest metro station in the world, by the way. So this comes in pretty handy now. So people are still also using the metro because it is safe to use. Okay. It is still being used by the population. So you can move around in a car, and what you see then is, I told you, all these barricades. People are even in the parks. They are digging trenches with shovels. They're making all defensive positions to stop a possible Russian incursion into the city.
بالطبع أنت تقابل الكثير من الأوكرانيين. هل لك أن تضعنا في أجواء ماذا يقولون لك على سبيل المثال؟ هل هم يريدون الهروب والخروج من المدينة أم أنهم يريدون فعلا الدفاع عن المدينة وعن بلدهم أوكرانيا؟
Yes, they are not running away. Especially the men are not running away. What you see a lot, well, I drove from the west of Ukraine where it's much safer towards Kyiv. I saw thousands of cars. You cannot believe, tens of thousands of cars already in the first week of the conflict. 1 million Ukrainians have left Ukraine. So you have 1 million refugees already, but these are mainly women and children. The men drop their women off in safe areas and then go in the same car. They drive basically back to Kyiv or to the front lines. They get guns. They don't have a lot of good guns, but at least they have something. At checkpoints, I see a lot of guys with hunting rifles defending their village. So yes, there's an enormous amount of checkpoints, anti-tank weapons, barricades on the streets. So it will be very, very difficult for the Russian army if they decide to enter to get far, because really all the men are staying and they all say we are ready to fight till the end.
طيب هارالد، هل تتمكن النساء والأطفال تحديدا من الخروج من العاصمة أو من الأحياء السكنية في أوكرانيا، الأحياء التي تتعرض للقصف؟ هل يتمكنون من الخروج فعلا بشكل آمن إلى الحدود ربما مع دول أخرى مجاورة، أم أن هناك صعوبة في ذلك، خاصة وأنه يعني الحديث عن تأمين ممر إنساني للخروج الآمنين والمدنيين هو أمر لم يتحقق بشكل جيد أو لم يتحقق؟ هل هناك صعوبة في ذلك؟
Very difficult. First of all, there are not enough cars, there are not enough trains, there's not enough transport, because it is such a massive exodus at the moment. You cannot believe, if you don't see it with your own eyes, you cannot believe. It is, I saw thousands of cars, thousands of people on trains. And this is really a very difficult situation, of course, for people. This is also a very large country. Don't forget, Ukraine is, after Russia, the largest European country. It's the same size as UAE and Saudi together, population-wise, 43 million. And size-wise, it's bigger than France. So this is a huge country with a huge population. Already 1 million people have left in the first week. And maybe you remember the 2015 refugee crisis in Europe with the Syrians going to Europe.
Yes.
We were then talking about 1 million people over a period of like a year. Now it's in 1 week. 1 million Ukrainians have already left to the neighboring countries. And what I saw here, there are still many more people on their way. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people on the move. And they will also try, and these are the women and children you were referring to, these women and children will also try to go to neighboring countries like Poland or Hungary. So this is a massive tragedy for this country, a massive change for Europe. And nobody knows where this is going to stop. And people here in Kyiv and in other parts of Ukraine are really shocked. They say like, we suddenly, 10 days ago, we had a normal life. And now suddenly we are stuck in a nightmare. And nobody knows when this is going to stop.
هارالد دورنبوس، موفد أخبار الآن إلى أوكرانيا، نتمنى عليك توخي الحيطة والحذر في ظل هذه الأجواء. شكرا جزيلا لك على هذه الرسالة.